You ever have one of those days, or maybe a whole year, that gets completely knocked off course by something you just never saw coming? Of course you have. We all have. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really powerful metaphor from Tom Pizio that gives us a clear, no nonsense way to handle life's biggest, most unexpected challenges.
It's funny. Sometimes the biggest changes in our lives, they don't exactly announce themselves with a huge bang. They kind of sneak up on you.
Right. There's no big dramatic entrance, no sudden fanfare. It's not some single massive event that you can react to all at once. Instead, it just builds. Slowly but surely, it just keeps accumulating until you get to a point where you absolutely cannot ignore it anymore. And well, that's where our story really begins. Okay, so let's set the scene here. Tom Pizio calls this the quiet storm, and it's a perfect way to think about those moments when your path forward is suddenly and totally blocked. Pizio talks about this early, totally unexpected snowstorm that hits in mid-December. But the key thing here, the thing you really gotta pay attention to, is how it arrived. See, this wasn't some crazy dramatic blizzard that just slammed into the world. Nope. It was a quiet storm. The snout just kept coming down relentlessly, slowly building and building until the entire world outside was just covered, transformed. And when that happens, what are you gonna do? You can't just ignore it. Your plans for the day, your big projects, your whole routine, all of it, it just has to stop. It goes on hold. Suddenly, the only thing that matters is dealing with what's right in front of you. You gotta get to work. And that right there, that immediate, non-negotiable need to just get to work, that's where this whole story really turns into a lesson. Because, as you've probably figured out by now, Pizio isn't just talking about the weather. This quiet storm, it's a massive metaphor for those huge, unplanned interruptions that life loves to throw our way. And this comparison just lays it out so perfectly. The unexpected arrival of the snow, that's like a health crisis that comes out of nowhere. The need to clean it all up, that's like this sudden, all-consuming responsibility of becoming a caregiver. And that feeling of everything pausing, that's the emotional gut punch when a major relationship ends. The message is crystal clear. The storm arrives, and suddenly you have a new, unavoidable duty. So here's the crucial point. When one of these life storms hits, it immediately becomes the most important thing, period. It's not some side project you can juggle or something you can multitask your way through. No, it demands your full attention. It becomes paramount. You just have to take care of it. And this brings us to the real heart of it all, the main takeaway from this whole idea. Developing the right mindset to actually face these moments head on, to clean up the snow without making a single excuse. It seems like such a simple question, right? That men, in the moment, the answer is so incredibly hard to find. When your whole world is blocked and your plans are just gone, what are you supposed to do? What's the most effective way to respond? And here it is, Pizio's brutally direct advice. When a crisis hits, our brain immediately scrambles to find a reason. We get stuck in this loop asking, why? Why did this happen? How could this happen to me? And look, that's a natural reaction. We're trying to find some logic, some control in a situation that feels completely out of our control. But Pizio just cuts right through all that noise. He says you can't make excuses or ask those questions. Why not? Because the answer doesn't matter. It did happen. And that radical acceptance, that's the first and honestly the hardest step out of the storm. Okay, so let's break this down into a really practical mindset, just 4 steps. First, acknowledge the new priority. The path has changed. This is what's important now. Second, reject the why. And this isn't about bottling things up. It's about consciously refusing to get paralyzed in a loop of denial or blame. Third, and this is the tough one, do the work. You just have to pick up the shovel and start, one scoop at a time. And finally, only after the real work is underway can you even begin to move forward. So what comes after the storm? Because the goal isn't just to survive the crisis, right? It's about actually getting back on your journey. It's about dealing with what happened and then intentionally getting on with things. This is what it all boils down to. It's a 2-part process. First, you confront the reality of the situation head on. No denial, no excuses. And then you make the conscious choice to keep going. It's not about forgetting what happened.
It's about integrating it and moving forward anyway.
And all of this leads to the central mantra of Tom Petizio's work, a simple but incredibly profound instruction for life, whether you're in the middle of a storm or walking in the calm. Just walk your path.
So we're going to leave you with this final thought. This metaphor, it's powerful because it's universal. We all have snow in our lives, big storms and little flurries that's blocking our path. So the real question is, what's yours? What snow do you need to start clearing today, and are you ready to pick up the shovel?